man and the puppet went to town, went to town. The man and the puppet went to town. Is it made of the water, but I don't want it down. The puppet went to town, and the man. We should get into puppets.
Definitely.
We could do a puppet podcast.
Puppet.
How about for one episode we just get a puppeteer? We get puppets of both of us. We do the talking.
And he does the puppeteering.
He does the puppeting.
Yeah, I'd hope it'd be that way around.
That would be a lot better.
We don't know how to puppet. They're probably not.
Podcast.
They're probably quite socially challenged, seeing as they're puppeteers.
Well, come on. You know my family lineage.
Long line of puppeteers.
You know the counts of puppet people.
Oppressed Irish puppeteers chased out of their dreams.
Just making little puppet potatoes.
Okay. I mean, that's,
I can't be racist when I'm talking about my family, can I?
Maybe you can.
Maybe I can.
Do you have any potato famine stories, tales?
No. No, I learnt about it in school rather than from my nan. My nan just came up with very obscure, often about her love life stories. There was one day.
So it's like, Nan, tell me about
our history, Nan.
So there's two
lads, right? One of them with a cock bigger than I'm at the same. I don't know why she's northern. Because I don't want to actually do my nan's voice saying that.
Yeah.
No, there was one.
Do someone else's nan.
Yeah, do someone else's nan, not mine. There was one time me and Dad were sitting with Nan in the living room, having a very polite and lovely conversation, as we did after a dinner. And then it honestly felt like she said something that I didn't quite understand because she had a thick Irish accent. And then Dad just looked unbelievably shocked, and I was like, what just happened? And then I'm pretty sure this is true. Dad was like, yeah, your nan just told me that she had sex with my dad's brother at one point. And I was like,
were you on the conversation, or were they having it?
No, I was in the conversation, but like they were exchanging some stories, I think.
Yeah.
And I wasn't party to that because I didn't really know what the stories were.
Yeah. And so it just slipped out.
Yeah.
And did she kind of forget that she hadn't told her son that she'd slept with his uncle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know what the story was?
No, because again, I can't absolutely verify that that's exactly what happened. As in, she definitely said that, and or if it's true or not. But that I didn't. She then kind of, I think she then realised what she'd said and then shut down. And
Yeah,
didn't say anything else.
yeah. That's, you don't want to be hearing that.
No. Yeah, but it's part of the fun, isn't it?
Yes,
Anything happens in Ireland.
Hello and welcome back. It's been a little while. We had a week off. How was your week off, Andrew? How did you find not having the podcast? Did it uncenter your week? Did it uncenter your soul?
Yeah, uncensored my week and soul, actually.
Do you think?
Yeah, it did a bit. Although this can often appear like work at times, it's nice to do.
It's just something.
It's just something to fill.
Something to fill.
Something to fill something and do.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm addressed quite special needsy at the moment. I know that's quite. I know people get quite upset when I use those words.
Frankly, I'm distraught.
But frankly, as someone who is learning challenged,
it's when the like collars of your shirt don't quite come down to your hands.
Yeah, and it's the big fat jeans
and
the New Balance shoes.
Stretch them out.
Yeah.
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 Just
What,
properly stretch them out. That is what makes it a bit special needs.
That's because do you know what the embarrassing thing is?
If you roll it up, he'll be alright.
The embarrassing thing is that's not that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the big baggy like jeans.
No, those are in.
And the New Balance shoes.
Those are also
they're obviously in, but special needs look is in.
You struggle to wear many things.
But I did not know. Now I didn't even realise that was a thing.
Yeah, of course it is. Because it reminds me of my year 7 pajamas.
Yep.
When they don't really fit.
Yeah.
That's
a very unique
pajamas
fit.
are the only thing that you can allow that don't. So you can roll them up, but if they're hitting like here, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's a big fashion no-no, a men's fashion no-no.
Yeah. See that instantly, you look a lot better.
Yeah. But yes, speaking of this outfit, I posted on my Instagram story today about that scene in Crazy Stupid Love. Have you seen Crazy Stupid Love?
Don't think I have. Is it
the one with Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling? Because it is quite interesting as a time capsule of. It came out in 2011. I watched it last Christmas. Absolutely fascinating film because I liked it at the time, and it's one of those rom-coms that set out to be shit like every other rom-com and happened to be good. You know, there's those sort of rom-coms where it's like, oh, we're all going to make a shit rom-com like every other shit. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, this actually turned out to, for some reason, it's actually pretty decent.
Something went wrong to make
Something went wrong to make it right because they've all set out, it's a rom-com. But it is actually a pretty good film. But it's the fashion in it. At the time when I watched it, obviously didn't stand out that much. But I guess it's like, as we've said many times, 10 years ago is the kind of, in many ways, the furthest away fashion can be.
Yeah.
Because it's the recent
Yeah,
past.
yeah. Although it's even catching up now.
And now it's quicker.
It's crazy, yeah.
And the kind of premise of the film is Steve Carell's character, who's going through a divorce, gets pitied upon by ladies' man Ryan Gosling, who tries to turn his life around.
Pretty classic, yeah.
So he makes him dress better. He teaches him how to speak to women.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because his dress sense of what a lame guy dresses is basically this outfit, apart from it's a t-shirt. He's wearing New Balances. He's wearing like baggy blue jeans.
Yeah.
And he's got like a polo stripy t-shirt.
Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling's just like, it's meant to be funny how
Suit
and he's wearing white white socks. And then he's wearing
white what?
White socks. So it's literally what everyone wears now.
Yeah. Steve Carell's.
Steve Carell's and then Ryan Gosling, this was at a real I it's hard to say. I would make a claim that I do think between 2008 and 2013 it has to be a low point. I do think I think historically it will be low.
For you or generally?
I think for fashion in general.
Right.
Because I think you still think it's all about things go through and trends and stuff, and it's out at the moment.
Until
I do think we'll look back.
Alien perspective, we're never truly going to understand.
Until we get the fashion aliens down.
The fashion aliens
down. Like,
that. They'll be able to point at one outfit like, there's your problem.
I don't know. Like
so
X Factor 2010 finals.
Are you talking plunge necks? T-shirts?
Plunge necks.
Because I can get on board with plunge necks.
I'm talking plunge necks. There was surfcore came in as well. That was like kind of surf bracelets.
Remember those cancer bands that everyone always said
cancer bands were in. The hair like that. So not only there's obviously the boys' hair that we all had, where it was like sort of like it had been whipped up. The girls' hair was actually worse, which was
bangs.
They had but it was.
Oh, the sweep.
The
windswept. Yeah,
it was like Diana
big.
Vickers, X Factor. Like
she used
that
to
was
be
a
a
while.
piece back in
It was
the
when
day.
everyone was singing. It was quite a wild culture. I think the music will come around, but I do think the fashion was extraordinarily bad. But what was considered high fashion? Was not high fashion, but like what really trained people. It was sort of the high point of smart casual. Okay? So that's like blazers out. That's girls dressing like Hillary Clinton to go on a night out. You know? That's guys with sort of not got the suaveness of maybe the 20s or the 40s where it's like committing to a suit properly. It's that half and half that so stings my eyes. And that's what Ryan Gosling was wearing. It was made
like a blazer and a
I mean, he was actually wearing sort of suits, but it would be like black jeans and a blazer, and the blazer has like and dress shoes, and then like a little handkerchief in the blazer pocket.
There were snotty guys though.
Yeah,
there were snotty guys.
Yeah. But it was still because we weren't at the age where we were going out clubbing at the kind of zenith of the 2010s fashion disaster.
One of the worst, and I do think I maintain that was because it's all about how you look back on the elements of your life and the cringe levels of it. And one of the worst, most cringiest things periods you can look back on is when you're growing up and you're just starting to try out fashion, which is about that kind of time for us. Yeah. And that's where you're most embarrassed about what you were wearing because you don't really understand it that much. You're trying to become an adult. You're trying to appear older than you are. You're trying to go into the fashion and it looks terrible. But it looks retrospectively terrible. But everyone has that for their different generations of fashion. So I just think everyone will always think that period of their life is the worst.
So you don't think 2008 to 2013 will stand out?
I think for me, I completely agree.
Historically,
but I'd love to get my dad on and ask him, and also just ask him how he's doing. We haven't spoken in a while. Dad, reach out to me. It's been too long, and we need to catch up.
Check in.
Just check in, Bill. I'm fine, thanks.
But more importantly, did that stand out?
The plunge necks.
Yeah.
Some football fucking team was wearing a plunge neck.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? Now that's where I already see it coming back in. And like U-necks, that top man U-neck is never going to be acceptable.
What I also appreciate about modern fashion is
who wants to see those two bones you have?
Kind of 2010s moved it to like minimalism came in. It was and that was sort of the transition between the sort of garishness of the 2000s to the sort of minimalism of the 2010s.
Yes.
But I like the kind of focus on quality so it became about practicality. It was like workwear.
Yeah,
it was like comfortable shoes. And
Yeah.
it just meant that things were made. It's now cool to wear something that's made well. You know, Patagonia, North Face, all of these things coming in.
Cargo pants back in, and I've recently got a pair, and it's changed my life because I carry a lot of things around, and now I can
cargo pants.
I can I've got those are the things that
combat trousers.
Combat trousers, yeah. So you can keep your pocket knives in, your
yeah,
ration kits,
yeah.
You know, your small tents.
I really we're heading towards. It's the Ray Mears.
Yeah.
But
no, because I carry a lot of stuff around. So it's nice to have an individual pocket for each.
Vape and vape charger and
vape fluid.
Yeah.
And then your phone
vape
while it queens.
Yeah.
But
throwing the stars.
Yeah, throwing stars, EpiPens, just in case my friends get in trouble. You never know who's allergic to nuts.
You know, women have handbags, men just have many small pockets. Many small pockets.
Which is why I'm a big fan of the cargo pant trend. I'm into it.
Yeah, for sure. But then if you look back at that period, things were made so poorly. Everything was so...
I can't remember it.
It was like everything was so like... Because it wasn't about...
Everything was quite thin.
Yeah, everything was so thin.
T-shirts were definitely thin.
T-shirts were thin as shit.
The only thing I can fully remember is the Top Man multicolored T-shirt. Yeah. The collar and the two sleeves.
Yeah.
And everyone had it.
You mean the button ones?
Yeah. And I remember, which is... a very true but embarrassing admission that we've all gone through, people our age, of looking at older kids wearing them when you were younger, being like, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck, I'm going to get me one of those as soon as
You're looking at some guy with his haircut looking like a Mr. Whippy.
And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. This
guy gets it, and he must get some.
Yeah. VO5 Wax and Lynx Africa, those were the days.
Those really were.
The only boys that you can mark clearly with a book when you're trying to gun them down at range.
Well, are you suggesting that what you do with these is you mark them? There is a piece of paper to mark with a book. More importantly, there's a wonderful array of celebrities and funny people, and with some funny quotes. It's comedy quotes, and they can live in your book rent free. It's actually words going within words when you think about it. It actually
more bang for your buck.
It adds. You buy a book and you only get a certain amount of words that are in that book. You buy this and there's more words going into it.
As we know, if you're a true reader, the better a book is how many words it has. That's
Correct.
sort of the scale of books, is how many words it has. So if you want to try and up maybe a mid-level book.
If you feel like you're appearing like an idiot to your friends because you're reading James and the Giant Peach rather than Dostoevsky, then what you need to do is get yourself some bookmarks. Some bookmarks with words in it to add. So then, how many pages is it? That won't work because it won't change the amount of pages. Unless people start asking what's the word count of the book, then that won't help you.
If you get 10,000 bookmarks and put them in James and the Giant Peach.
And you could use our discount code to get the 10,000 bookmarks.
Boys Gone Wild.
/
Bookmark Boys. I think the code is Boys Gone Wild.
Yeah.
But if you get 10,000 bookmarks and you put them in James and the Giant Peach, suddenly... do you know what I mean? Suddenly it's a classic.
Suddenly
it's a literary...
Suddenly you're reading Pride and Prejudice.
Bookmark Boys.
Bookmark Boys.
The only
the only bookmarks that make the noise.
Let's talk about Johnny Depp. That was meant to be the main thing we wanted to talk about. We got sidetracked.
Yes.
Because I am a huge... I did... When I was back when I was doing the solo podcast, that's how long ago how long this fucking shit's been going on. I did an episode on this. So I am very... And this one now is because America, you can have a video of the court proceedings. Obviously, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, which is an especially fascinating one because it feels kind of like safe ground to peer at because it's so specified. It's not like it's not like a court case that I think will have huge political or social ramifications.
It's just a bit of fun.
It's a little bit of fun because it's, in my opinion, it seems like they're both nightmares.
Yeah.
And they're both will stop at nothing to destroy themselves. So it's more of a circus act.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And there's so much media tactics that are going on within it anyway.
Yeah, it's fascinating just the amount of time that's gone through it.
Yeah.
To start off with just the level of the lack of... For such celebrities are quite private people for their really personal stuff. The fact that they're so ready to have all of their life just bed.
Well, I've heard that Amber Heard's team were big on not having no TV cameras in the courtroom, but Johnny's team wanted to. And I think you can kind of see why, because he is generally coming off as the guy who's coming off better than Amber.
Well, certainly the internet is team Johnny Depp, and I was...
But you're all about the jury.
I'm all about the jury. I'm all about the bailiff.
Yeah.
Like, guys, there's a lot of teams at stake.
What's the stenographer say?
And certainly when I saw quite inflammatory videos, I was also like, fuck Amber Heard. And I think it's very easy to be anti-Amber Heard.
Yeah, in reality, we haven't got a fucking clue.
No idea.
No one knows what's going on there.
But I think...
I'm sure they're both mental.
It's the idea that Amber Heard's made this all up is really like people's... It's just more fun for the horde.
Yeah.
So
in this world, we need to digest a clear, identifiable
And I think once
story.
again, much like the hatred of Amy Schumer, the hatred of Hillary Clinton, it's kind of been ruined for me by misogynists. And it's I'd like to have my own. I'd like to dislike them slightly.
Yeah.
But
now it's all about...
But now I can't because you guys have ruined it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Guys.
Now it's like, all women lie. And it's like, no, can we not just enjoy hating this individual?
Yeah.
Because it was like, I was at a Tim Dillon show, and then he mentioned Hillary Clinton, and there was just a whale of booze. And it's like, I don't...
It was like when Ricky Gervais mentioned people with AIDS. And there was a whale of booze.
What?
Do you remember the story I told a while ago? There was
they were booing people.
No, there was a cheer about someone getting AIDS or something. There was this horrible moment. I spoke about it on the podcast.
God. Yeah.
But the moment where you look around the crowd and you're like, oh, actually, I don't think I'm on your vibe.
Yeah, not on this vibe. And it was... Tim Dillon's show was great, by the way, and he was brilliant. But
in case you're listening to him.
Yeah, in case Tim, in case you're listening. I'm a big fan of it. It was just that moment. And also listening to this QAnon podcast, where a huge banner of the people who raided the Capitol was this myth about Hillary Clinton being the center of a satanic pedo. And it's like, I just don't like her for, supporting the Iraq War, going back on, being a clear career opportunist. Just all the basic reasons why you wouldn't like any shitty politician.
But then you get lumped into the same.
And it's like, guys. Fucking hell. And now it's like she's a paedophile who eats babies, and this is why all women should be in power. And it's like, no, can she not just be a cunt? Can she just be a cunt?
Yeah.
And it's the same, like Amy Schumer, for example. I'm not a huge fan of her comedy. I don't think she's terrible. The hatred people have towards her makes me support her die hard.
Completely.
Because it's just like, it's all... Amy Schumer's like the amount... I've never seen a person who's so viscerally hated as a comedian on the internet than Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
And the same thing is sort of happening with Amber Heard, where it's like, it just feels like it's piggybacking for genuine misogyny.
Well, particularly with the nature of the case between Johnny and Amber and the domestic abuse stuff. It feels really, tough to just entirely go against.
So I don't know what I'm talking about, but I definitely don't. I'm not of the kind of the kind of normal white procedure of man pad, believable women sort of approach.
Well, there's loads of as
it seems quite complex. That it does seem like they're both fucking mental narcissists.
Well, no shit. Yeah.
I mean, it seems she could throw a punch.
Part of it, like, part of it is this is gonna fucking turn around Johnny's career. He's already becoming like, because there was when it was all coming out, all the stuff. He was Public Enemy #1. He was going in front of all his films and stuff. He was never going to have a career, and I think that's what part of this defamation suit is about: is the amount of work he's lost and everything. So he's kind of played a blinder in this counter-suing kind of thing with the defamation thing, because he knew he wanted to be on the stand. He wanted TV cameras in there, because he is coming off very well in it. He's coming off really well. People are starting to, let's get Johnny Depp back. I bet his film, the views of his the streams of his films have gone up so much. He's going to be back in vogue, and he's going to get gigs again. Even if he doesn't win the defamation case, the real defamation case is making him look good on the stand, and he's going to go back in the industry.
Yeah, that's interesting, because he lost the case in the UK, but it once again seems it's like.
Why did that happen in the UK?
Because it was against the Sun.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
It was against the Sun, calling him a wife beater or something.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of a career ender.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, but it was interesting. It's like hours, and the UK one as well was hours and hours. It was such a long case, and it's about such a small part.
Yeah,
it's not even, whoever wins is right.
Yeah,
it's like whoever wins has got like a slight technicality win. But yeah, it is irrelevant who won that one because no one's on Amber Heard's side. It's not like she has any mandate to say. She hasn't been using. I haven't heard her using that as like, well, a court said you're.
Well,
it was about the specificity
some of the lawyers have
having enough.
They have used that. I think.
Okay.
Because they're bringing up stuff that he said in the courts in the UK.
But it wasn't like it wasn't criminally charged. He just didn't.
The one thing that I am on board
case.
with in the kind of grander internet narrative of it is that Amber Heard's lawyers do seem to be absolutely dreadful.
Really?
One of them, he asked a question. He asked different witness a question. The witness started answering, and he went, "Objection, Your Honour, hearsay." And the judge went, "You asked the question."
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that, and it does feel like
they lost. There was a period of like 5 minutes where they couldn't find a piece of evidence. They look honestly awful.
I've seen clips of that, and it reminded me a lot of that brilliant moment when Mark Zuckerberg was brought before, like, the Senate. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And he was questioned by, like, a lot of like 17-year-old. No, it's not 70-year-old,
15-year-old boys, and everyone, where's the Senate gone? There's been an ad.
These guys haven't even done their GCSEs. And they're fucking
Lindsay Graham.
Yeah, and it's just all of these people who have never been on the fucking internet, clearly.
And it was almost like your granddad asking. It was like a grandparent asking a grandchild how to use Facebook.
It was like, how is this? This is the top court of the land.
That's funny. So it was like, so I've been logged out of my Facebook account. How do I reset my password? What exactly?
It was baffling.
What am I agreeing to with cookies? What are they?
Yeah, and it was because I actually don't think we talk about that moment enough. That's another one.
My profile picture's been just a patch of, just been a patch of grass for the last 5 years, and I can't quite change it. How do I change my profile picture?
And then he explains, and they're all writing it down. Okay, so you do.
Okay,
because everyone's got it.
Okay, and what is a poke? Okay. Right, yeah. It's just a friendly message.
It's like it was the first real kind of official the first real coming together of big tech versus the government. It was the most symbolic case, and the government
I've got a clue.
Just like,
because they don't understand complex data.
Yeah. And it reminded me of that when I saw Amber Heard's lawyers.
It is hilarious. I mean, it's a show trial in many ways. I mean, a defamation trial is always kind of a show trial.
Yeah.
But I'm hooked a little bit.
And also, Johnny Depp
looks fit.
No, he's also one of the most skilled emoters in the world. But
there was a powerful moment for me to sit and watch one of the world's best emoters.
I'm obsessed with Liam Payne as well. We haven't. I know that was discussed at length, but in the madness of the Will Smith, Chris Rock debacle, the Liam Payne monologue, I think I was working through too much stuff that I couldn't really dive into it. But I've revisited a couple of times, and I think it could arguably come out as maybe even better than the punch. It could be looked back historically
as more significant, more of a turning, at least.
And I know a lot of people have done deep dives on it. But the way that he calls Will Smith one of the world's greatest emoters in that weird transatlantic northern Hollywood, Dutch, There
were 7.
But calling Will Smith one of the world's best emoters, one of the most fascinating things about actors, though I do believe as a breed they're definitely over rated. The fanfare they get.
Yeah.
And often some of the best actors are quite empty.
Overvalorized.
Well, they're quite empty. Why they're good actors is because there's not loads going on. But what they are good at is just talking. There's the star quality of it. Alec Baldwin in the CCTV footage of him being questioned by the police, there's star quality there. Just being questioned by the police. He's clearly not a normal person.
It wasn't exactly the same as the making of a murderer guy, was it?
No.
It was a bit more emotion.
No, but genuinely, the thing that really stands out when actors are, which has become a much more recent phenomenon, is actors being embroiled in these sort of incredibly public scandals.
Yeah.
Which, I don't think Humphrey Bogart had this level of sort of like.
You haven't seen what I've seen. The Humphrey Files.
But
Bogart's a bad one.
The Humphrey Files. But the thing that stands out with Will Smith, Alec Baldwin, Johnny Depp, is because their real skill is being dramatic performance. So there's just star quality, just kind of.
How does Alec Baldwin come in?
Because it shows that even in him being questioned by the police, there's still he's one of the world's best emoters.
But magnetizing to watch.
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly.
But do you not think part of acting is mimicking those situations? Like, I don't think Alec Baldwin's reaction to finding out that she died.
I'm not saying that these are genuine things, but I'm saying they have.
I agree with.
They have charisma.
I suppose so. Yeah. No, I get
top charisma. And also just whatever that dust that is star quality, they have it. Johnny Depp in a courtroom.
Johnny Depp's the biggest one for that though, because like he's been up there for like 7 hours,
and it's in a courtroom
making appropriate jokes,
kind of like quite an embarrassing thing with all of his stuff, and there's still star quality coming off him. Will Smith after.
I mean, you're always going to kind of look a bit sick when you're on the dock. There's something about it, particularly when you're wearing shades and like a sick suit. And
do you think?
And there's something about being in a dock.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who don't deal with that pressure as well. But I'm just saying,
the sweaters,
the world's best emoters will do this sort of stuff. They have the magnetic charisma.
But I think it's also about the narcissism involved in being one of the world's best emoters. That is.
Johnny Depp is one of the world's best emoters.
And he's probably one of the biggest narcissists.
Of course.
And that's why it's so... Because, like, I think the lack of pressure that he's feeling on the stand is because he is a narcissist.
Has Amber Turd been brought up?
Turd? Was that on purpose?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Let's have a balance.
No, I'm saying... No, I don't mean... No, I mean the Amber Turd incident. I wasn't just...
That really felt like a lads podcast. Yes, what we talk about Amber Turd.
Because the Amber Turd, because he called her... It did
get brought up,
He called her Amber Turd. Do you know about this?
Yeah, no, I do, yeah. It did get brought up. So that's...
It
did get brought up.
So do you know fully what happened? Because once again, the problem is, and this is what this podcast is meant to specialise in, is sifting through this sort of madness. There's too much stuff happening, and it's stressing me out because we don't have enough time to react to all of it. I've just mentioned Alec Baldwin, Johnny Depp, and Will Smith. All have happened within a year of each other, maybe less. When did we do the Alec Baldwin one? That was like winter, wasn't it?
Yeah, Alec Baldwin's been in the year.
Well, that was the last one.
Yeah.
That was
Will Smith was the latest one.
That was the earliest one.
Baldwin, Depp is...
That's in like a 6-month period. It's too much.
Oh, well, I'm exhausted, man.
It's
too much,
We can't even take it all. And part of me is like, when we have a bit of space to look back on all this, but it looks like the pace is relentless.
I envy the future's historians.
Exactly. And it's keeping pace with Russia-Ukraine, Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who's going to be next? It's going to be Danny DeVito, isn't it?
It's going to be DD. But yes, the Amber Turd incident. Do you know what the specifics of what actually happened?
A lot of what I saw testimony-wise for the most recent trial was that the prosecutor might have been suggesting that the dog could have shat in the bed. And then what you get out of that is a glorious moment where Johnny Depp is basically saying, I know a human shit when I see it. That would be my core analysis from it. So I believe Johnny just found a poo in his bed and was like, that's hers. That's her shit.
Now look, I am on the side of Amber Heard here. Or I do think it's kind of, Occam's razor, the Occam's razor, the theory that the simplest it's a scientific theory that the simplest answer
is often the truth. Yeah.
It seems absolutely wild that Amber Heard would squat and shit in Johnny Depp's bed. I know she might be a bit,
in the
she's not the most
of
normal
their
person.
Relationship. Now, I think we also have to think about the quantity of voice notes that she has. Like, it's almost like their entire relationship she was voice noting. Now, that, again, one could take that as her being mental, or one could take it as her being a victim of consistent domestic abuse.
Sure.
So, again, no one knows the answer.
Let's stick on the turd answer
No, but that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? In the context, right. But what it shows is that something terrible is happening either way, right?
Yeah.
And when something's terrible happening either way, you could be taking a shit in the bed. You could
be taking the shit in the bed because you're a victim of domestic abuse,
Yep.
and you don't know what other options
or
left.
if you're mental and
Or
recording
if you're
everything
mental and you're
trying to defame him.
So you're saying that because the kind of two main options.
I'm saying I believe it was her shit because of the amount of voice notes she took.
She's either
The victim of domestic abuse.
A victim of domestic abuse.
Well, fair enough. Shit on his bed all you want.
That's the.
Then God, that's the least you can do. Or she's mental. She's recording everything for no reason and because she's trying to ruin his life and career. And therefore, why wouldn't you shit in the bed? Right? It's simple. It adds up. So I that's why.
All right. Okay. Now
I should be a fucking lawyer.
Real questions. Gun against your head.
Yes.
There's an envelope
With
There's an envelope with the answer to
the actual shit in.
Who shat in Amber Heard's in Johnny Depp's bed. You have two answers that you can give: Amber Heard or not Amber Heard.
Yeah.
You have. If you get it wrong, you die.
Everything I've already said, I'm believing. Amber Heard.
It's
Amber Heard's poo. No, I firmly believe it is. And one of the points that
I've got the gun against my head.
Now listen, right. One of the points Johnny Depp also brought up, which was a really good point, right? Okay.
You're starting to fancy Johnny Depp a lot over this. You're like,
I have fallen a bit. But
yeah, it's a really good point. He's handled himself really well.
But I am also, Amber hasn't got her say, so I'm not team Johnny Depp. He's just quite sexy.
He's just, he's charmed you.
Yeah. But, no, it's a good point. And again, one of the best things about this trial, where, again, we thought the world was so absurd, and it has become so absurd in the last however many years. But now this thing is just kind of normal. This sentence coming out of Johnny Depp's mouth is kind of normal to us because of everything else that's happened globally. Is that he was saying that he made a quip against the lawyer who was saying it could have been dog shit. And he was like, I pick up that dog shit every day of my life. I think I know the difference between my dog shit and specifically, like, he knows his dog shit intimately.
Yeah.
And he knows, and he made the insinuation that a shit that size couldn't have come from his dog. He mentioned the size of the dog. They're small dogs.
Yeah.
It was a large poo. Now.
Because there's photo evidence.
There's photo evidence, and I'm not sure if that's been released to the public.
I think it has been.
Should we get it up?
Yeah, let's get it up. You Phil.
Well, but with the gun to my head, there is enough. The ending to this would be for me to actually see the size of the shit. I think a lot of it is down to how large the excretion is. But for me, like, right, what would you be doing? Unless, Johnny, unless these guys have
the turd.
That's not. There's no concept of size in that. I guess the crease is in the bed.
You want a hand next to it, wouldn't you?
I need a hand next to it.
Or I'd get what I'd do is I'd get my dog to shit next to it.
Okay. Why is there half missing? It looks like a banana. It looks like a rotten banana. Do you know what I mean? There's half missing. There's half missing. Someone's taken a bite out of it. And it was either Amber or the dog. Half's missing.
You got to take a picture of that because, of course, there's a picture of that.
But what you can get it from is like the creases in the bed.
Yeah. No. Here's a picture. This is his scale.
His scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Final conclusion.
Yeah. You got the gun against your head?
Amber Heard's. Final conclusion, Amber Heard's. Now, I don't want to get horrible here.
But that looks like a human shit.
Thickness.
Yeah, that's thick. Yeah,
it's human shit. Now, after everything, it would have taken a clear dog shit. I mean, now I've seen pictures of his dogs.
Of course you have. You're a big fan.
I'm a massive fan of Johnny Depp's dog. No, I've heard testimonies to the size of his dogs. So I actually haven't seen a picture of his dogs. Can we look up his dogs? We need a producer nowadays.
Yeah.
We need a producer. But so the key thing here is, it is to do with the size of the dog. Because I had a dog who had, that wasn't crazy for him. But they were thinner than that. They were a lot thinner than that.
Okay, that's a small dog.
That is it's Amber Heard. End of conversation. Now, and I think... And it's also, again, Johnny Depp being one of the greatest emoters.
He's a great emoter.
He's a great emoter. So I don't, like, part of it is you can't, and I believe because he is such a great emoter that we have to take everything he's saying with a pinch of salt, because he's such a great actor. I had to say great actor to be sincere, but he's such a great emoter. He's such a great emoter that he can play off a character. If he has a certain script that he's trying to deliver, then he's going to be able to play it off well. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. That's why he gets paid. And Johnny Depp is a great actor, emoter. So that's why with all of this stuff. But like when he was talking about the dog and the poo and the amber, the poo and the dog and the amber poo, he was like, I've so confident in his delivery. It was like there was 0% chance in his mind that was a dog shit.
But you don't think the turd.
But I'm not listening to Johnny, I'm listening to the evidence. Okay? And I've said that from day one. The big thing for me was the veracity and the consistency of the voice notes.
Yeah.
When I say voice notes, sorry, I mean recordings. There were two reasons why, and I'm going to reiterate the point quickly. Let's summarize all the evidence. Amber Heard recorded all of their relationship, essentially. Who records a relationship in that manner? A victim of domestic abuse or someone who is out there doing some fucking crazy shit.
Sure.
Both of which would suggest you could shit in their bed. One of them very fairly, the other one, maybe not so fairly. The image of the shit.
Yeah.
It's thick,
sure.
Right?
It's a human shit.
It looks human-y. Okay,
Yeah,
there's some questions.
Got to get to my head. That's Amber.
There's some questions, and then the fourth, and I think actually the most important one here: size of dog.
Do you think? What I'm struggling with is in the centre of the bed. I just can't.
How tall's the bed? How big's the dog? Sorry.
No. I've given up on the dog. I do genuinely think it's Amber Heard.
Okay, we're on now. Okay, good. Yeah.
Amber Heard squatting and shitting on the bed. I just think it's so against any instinct. It'd be a really hard thing to shit in a bed. Do you know what I mean?
I've got my own problems going on at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I can't be dealing with this shit. This is fucking mental. Like, this is actually occupying my mind. I'm getting stressed out about this. Go on.
Because I just think, even if I was upset with someone, just the act of shitting in a bed is it's so like against everything you've been taught.
No shit! What do you mean?
No, but I mean,
there's no point in trying to understand it.
It's just, she's a very attractive woman who's been treated as such her whole life.
Hey, attractive women can poo in beds too.
I know. But let's be real.
But let's be honest.
Let's be
brass tacks.
A 10 out of 10.
Sure.
Percentage-wise. This is a very horrendous scale, but I'm just using this for quick hand. If you could split attractiveness of people into 1s, 2s, 3s, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever.
That's fine. You can call Amber Heard a 10 out of 10. It's not crazy.
Sure. If you saw the percentage of those categories that had shat in the bed, I would reckon. Do you know what it is? Do you know what I think the scale would be? No, do you know what the scale would be? I think
the graph.
It would be 1s would be the top. Genuinely,
you think
the 1s shit in the bed the most?
Don't have enough confidence in their looks. I actually think it would be more 10s than you think.
No, I think it'd be more 10s. Do you know what it'd be?
Oh, here we go.
It'd be 1s. It'd be going down till 9s, the bottom, and then 10s would be a small uptick, because 10s you feel you can do whatever you want. And I'm not saying I support ranking women on looks, but for the science,
I'm going to ask a question that gets you in trouble and therefore vicariously me in trouble. But why do you think 1s shit in the bed a lot?
Because they're probably
So we.
Why do I think one shit in the bed a lot? That's a tough question to answer.
And I think you know what you want to say. I'm not even.
I don't
I'm not
think
going to answer for you.
Because I don't think they leave the bed that much.
Oh, you're talking about like the documentary fat people.
It's once.
Oh yeah. So the documentary.
Once again, I'm not condoning, but it's for the science.
It's all the joke.
It's a hypothetical.
Right. So you're thinking,
Yeah.
and if we are to take,
And this is not anyone specific.
if we had to, as you could rank men or you can rank anyone in a scale of 1 to 10.
And this is a clash of
If we are
tens.
to take the ones,
Yeah.
a lot of them might be bedridden due to obesity.
Sure.
Now, I guess in that scale,
Yeah.
right, and in that situation, a lot of them might well have to shit in the bed because they can't get up.
It's true.
So,
I think one's exponentially shit in the bed more than even twos. I think one's it's gonna
because twos can get out of bed. This has been the worst.
I can't
podcast
believe we've gone so hard.
We've been so bad. But then,
But fundamentally, yes.
now,
fundamentally, everything we've been saying. The thing is, if you've been like, okay, that's
affected
it.
by this podcast,
No,
so
but
please
if
call
you-
the number at the bottom of the screen.
If you feel like, okay, look, I enjoy them fucking around, but now they've started ranking women and doing all that.
We're not
I
ranking
get,
women.
no, I get that, I get it. But you also, would you disagree with the stats? That's a question you have to ask yourself. You know, when it came down to it, you know,
Yeah.
gun against your head, and the
against your
graph
head.
is
Yeah.
in the envelope.
Yeah.
It's no longer has Amber Heard shat in the bed. It's now, what does this graph look like?
The answer's there, and where's the graph? What's the graph saying? And if gun to your head,
And you have to draw the closest you think to the. You're drawing ones.
look. Sometimes the discovery of truth is tough, man. Sometimes it can ruffle a few feathers. But let's focus on the tens for a minute. We've encountered the bedridden ones. And I suppose if we are ranking on a scale of, and I don't think we even need to rank. I don't think it's a controversial thing to say that human beings.
Well, you're not attracted to bedridden
human
obese.
beings. I think one of the least attractive things for me is if someone's so fat they can't get out of bed. I think is that fine to say? Is that okay? I'm surely that's okay. Or is that me being not progressive enough that I should become a live-in nurse for someone? I think that's fine to say. That I will not be in
Does
a
it give you
relationship.
the ick? If
Yeah.
someone's so fat they can't get out of bed.
That is... This is... Yeah. Like, it... Oh, my God. It goes into all of... Look, sexual attraction, we can moderate our politics. We can't moderate our sexual attraction. Okay? And if we're getting to the point where we're not being woke because we don't want a relationship with a bedridden obese person, then I think we might not being fair to ourselves.
Wow.
Anyway, to the 10. To the 10s, right? Who are the funnier and the easier ground to
Sure.
go off. Let's go into some safe waters here.
Yeah.
The 10s. I think that's the only way they can really make a statement. I think what going through a 10's mind is they're so gorgeous.
Sure.
They're so attractive. And it's like, and this is male and female. So well,
that's what's so interesting about this case. It's a 10 versus a 10, you know?
it's a 10 versus a 10, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you're that level of gorgeous and you really want to make a point, and it's almost like they might always look at you as it's so hard to get angry at you because you're so unbelievably gorgeous and I'm so in love with you.
Sure.
And if you really want to flip that, and they've tried everything. They've tried their words. They've tried hitting them.
What do you mean
They've
flip
tried-
it?
As in, make them mad at you. Make them have a reaction to what you're saying.
Sure.
They're not listening to what you... Don't give me that short. They're not listening to what you're saying. You try physical violence. You try throwing glasses at them. What's left?
Shit in the bed.
And on that note...
Yes, but in the discussion of this is not maybe in the world of like elite celebrity, but I think it's certainly in a small sub. What are you laughing at?
Just that whole conversation.
Which is turning into, for some reason, the type of controversy that might be my favourite of all of them. We've discussed Johnny Depp. We've discussed Alec Baldwin. We've discussed Chris Rock. Which in actually many ways, before we actually move on, I do think symbolises the real... This is the beginning of the end of A-list celebrities.
Yes. Yeah.
Because TikTok and social media and where it's headed, it's
YouTube,
meant that
Tim Dillon.
Everyone,
Tim Dillon's a good example.
Everyone is a celebrity now.
Yeah.
Celebrity is so watered down.
Yeah.
There's so few true golden age
there's
celebrities.
A lot more space.
There's Leo, there's Brad Pitt. There's not huge amounts of people who are like that elite level.
Yeah.
Now you've taken away...
We've got a few new people coming in, like Zendaya.
You will always have.
They'll always
that.
be there.
But it's Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya. They're not of the Chaplin. They're not of the golden age of Hollywood things where there was 50 celebrities that everyone knew because there was 20 films all made in one city.
Yes.
But yeah, it feels like that all of these three stories really represent how it's all coming crashing down. We're seeing them as real people way too much. We're seeing Amber Heard shit in Johnny Depp's bed, which you would never see Greta Garbo shit in Humphrey Bogart's bed.
No.
That wouldn't happen as a thing, which I'm sure she was.
And I'm sure
she was.
I'm sure Marilyn Monroe shat in JFK.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
But we wouldn't see it back then.
No, there wasn't enough cameras.
There wasn't enough. You didn't have a camera on your phone.
Smartphone.
Yeah. But it's shown that there's been an equalising effect, so that celebrity is sort of meaningless now. So the actual celebrities, and that's why the Oscars, with Will Smith, had such a schizophrenic, prangy, feeling to it, because it was so sure as this sort of symbol of the elite of media, and that's been challenged. No one's fucking watching it, and it's. As a beast, somehow it's like freaking out. It's like going into. It's like mentally ill now.
Yeah. Well, it almost seems like a kind of last-ditch fight for relevance.
Yeah, well, obviously that's not what was going through Will Smith's head, but
But as a machine,
it's like it's not being able to deal with this.
Yeah.
It's now entering this new stage where no one cares about the Oscars.
It's like a political theory where the actors or the individuals aren't important in what's happening. It's the structure.
It is literally it's like having like
an
a muscle.
industry.
It's like having a muscle spasm. Will Smith, and that's Hollywood having a muscle spasm. And
when Amber Heard squatted on that bed and took a dump,
that's one little muscle spasm.
It was just cog going. Vroom, vroom.
When Alec Baldwin sadly killed the cinematographer, muscle spasm. So yeah, even though Johnny Depp, Alec Baldwin, Will Smith, they represent quite a elite level of scandal, I still feel, as much as arguably the obsession of the podcast is these sort of celebrity scandals, I do feel my favourite subgenre of these is football players. Normally ex-football players is the funniest for some reason. Getting political and fucking it up. Obviously, we've talked at length about the Glenn Hoddle incident.
One of my favourite
One of
the best fuck-ups of all time.
For all the kind of nuanced view we have of cancel culture, one of the most clear and obvious cancellations ever was when Glenn Hoddle, who at the time was an incredibly successful England manager, which is a rare thing, especially in that period of time, completely nosedived his career by, for some reason, in an interview about football, bringing up his theory that disabled people were probably disabled because they were being punished for sins in a past life. It was when he was going through a very strange...
He was asked if his first pick was for centre-back.
He was going through a very intense period of fervent Christianity, born-again Christianity. So that for some reason... I don't know what is at stake, but there's something about spending your life being a physical athlete, which I think softens your brain a little bit, because your whole focus is
a lot of headers,
a lot of headers. So because you're placed in society and upheld, it gives you a certain platform that people with your brain capacity wouldn't normally hold.
Sometimes I get worried we talk about the Hoddle story too much, but it's definitely worth repeating. If there's even one new listener who hasn't heard what Glenn Hoddle said,
the Hoddle, yeah, it's incredible.
He is the ultimate boy gone wild. I think he might be worth putting a picture of Glenn Hoddle there, because that is mental. And we both said, like, we're not big fans of cancel culture, whatever, but like, I wish he felt the wrath of cancel culture for that shit. That's a man who deserves to never work in football again. But he's commentating tonight, won't he? He'll be on tonight.
And he's thick as pig shit. You can hear it.
He is. He's a fucking idiot. A stupid.
Yeah, but I don't want him to not work in football because he's fucking box office. I want him to say something else.
Yeah, I just want him to get a bit more heat for those comments, because that is pig shit crazy. But, right, let's read out Matt Le Tissier.
So, Matt Le Tissier, who is part of the Soccer Saturday lads, who I have a soft spot for because we'll never see their like again. It's a dying breed.
Yeah.
Jeff Stelling and the 4 dumbest guys in football. I think collectively their IQ is probably the lowest you can have of 5 people presenting on TV in suits.
Who's the guy with the hair?
The Scottish one.
Yeah.
I don't know what his name is.
He's funny. Yeah.
But he is funny. But, like, I don't think there's anywhere else on British television where 5 people wear suits and have such a low IQ between them.
It's 4 men shouting over each other with not much to say.
And I'm a big fan of
this podcast.
You will never see the like of it again. You'll never have such dumb, ignorant white dudes commentating just for white dudes like that again. Yeah. Paul Merson, who's one of the dumbest football analysis I've ever seen in my life, quite extraordinarily.
Yeah, he cries quite a lot as well.
He's brilliantly dumb. I think his mind's starting to go as well, so it's becoming more so. But he has the worst insight of anyone. He always has the worst. He doesn't do any research before going into any of the things, and he's always called up for like Carabao Cup games because he's obviously
you don't want to put him on the big league.
And then he'll always use that opportunity to say something. He'll get their age wrong. He'll just completely miss the point.
Yeah.
Big fan of Merce.
Massive
so there's Paul
fan,
Merce. There's a Scottish guy with his hair like that. Jeff Stelling, who holds the group together, but by his performance on House of Games.
Matt Le Tissier is actually a Premier League legend.
Premier League legend. If you watch Matt Le Tissier best goals, similar to Glenn Hoddle, they're not rough centre backs.
We're focusing too much on the football.
They're not Vinnie Jones. They're not like hard men on the pitch. These guys are like for the English game, quite rare mavericks of the game. Glenn Hoddle's games for his goals for that period were extraordinary. Matt Le Tissier, if you watch a highlight reel of Matt Le Tissier's great goals, even if you're not a football fan, I'll play some right here while we talk about this. I'll put Matt Le Tissier's best goals because they're absolute magic. The guy was a wizard. But as we can see, physical ability,
strength doesn't mean mental strength or ability.
Because Matt Le Tissier is getting a lot of heat for these recent comments.
And we'll say justifiably so.
Yeah.
So he tweeted, he actually retweeted a tweet by the Unity Newsnet, which immediately off the handle of the Twitter, there's not going to be some very insightful stuff going on. Matt Le Tissier retweeted it with this, with the finger pointed down, which is kind of the 60-year-old equivalent of the clap emoji.
Yeah.
And the tweet that he retweeted reads thus: "The media lied about weapons of mass destruction. Full stop. 2 paragraphs down, 2 points down. The media lied about COVID. The media lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. But honestly, they're telling the truth about Bucha or Bucha."
So the horrendous
what
Bucha...
What Matt's done there is deny a Ukrainian war. Matt has denied what I don't even know what to call it.
It's a war crime. It's genocide.
Yeah, he's denied a war crime.
It's the horrendous kind of the first taste in the Ukrainian conflict of the true scale of genuine kind of standing out in history of genocide, which goes above common warfare.
Yes.
I think it's just such a... What I always find, similar to the Glenn Hoddle disabled person comment.
Of course, and we'll always bring it back.
always bring it up.
We can bring it back in anything.
We can always... One of my main skills is managing to veer any conversation.
Oh, you're having a tough time, are you? How about Glenn Hoddle?
Why it's so funny to me, there's many reasons. It's such a funny hill to die on.
Wait, is this Glenn or...
Both.
Yes.
They both, the similarities is it's like, what a wild hill to die on.
And that is the funniest thing about it. For me, that is what it is. That's what it is. Matt Le Tissier got one of the highest paid jobs in football punditry, appearing on our TV screens as celebrated football legend, one of the best goal scorers in the Premier League that's ever existed. Why are you denying what happened in Ukraine?
It's not even against your values, it doesn't seem to be. It's just a vague distrust of media.
And, like, there's not even, like, particularly with the Ukraine, like, what's happening in Ukraine versus something like COVID, although we live in a polarized world. When you're talking about COVID and, like, Iraq, there's a lot more clear dichotomies in the discourse.
Sure.
And you can have nut job celebrities who kind of go on, like, one of the completely other sides of it. But with COVID and Iraq, there seems to be a reason for going for the other side. There seems to be a complex conversation about power.
Yeah.
Ukraine isn't that complex.
If you're English footballer, do you know what I mean?
Well, if you're a football pundit.
Yeah.
If you do football punditry.
Sure, if you're the striker for the Russian national football team, I can maybe understand why you would have a different view on it, why it would be in your interest to maybe deny Russian war crimes.
Yes.
If you're Matt Le Tissier...
on Sky Sports at 3 p.m.
Soccer Saturday.
Gillette Soccer Saturday.
Why are you denying the Ukrainian genocide?
And even if you are firmly of the belief, if Matt Le Tissier is firmly of the belief that the Ukrainian or a Russian war crime didn't happen, have the foresight to not air those views. Have the foresight to think, why am I famous? What do I do in the world? Right, I'm good at football. I was good at football, and now I'm good at football punditry, and I have a one job. Does the world need to hear what you think, particularly if it's that extreme? The lack of rationality in thinking, let's think about the cost-benefit analysis here. And there seems to be no identification of the cost.
It's the immediacy of Twitter makes me laugh. The fact that he was sitting there and it was a split-second decision. He didn't think about the ramifications. It was kind of Twitter encourages spontaneity, which means it creates a lot more fun for us.
Is it 140 characters or 240? 140 characters. Often points can seem snappy without any evidence, and therefore you can read them and be like, that did happen in Iraq. Yeah, COVID was a lie as well. This, and boom, it's all over. What a fucking moron.
Yeah.
What a fucking moron.
It's also like, what do you expect to gain out of it? Is it like people are going to be like, they've lied about them? I mean, once again, I don't think this is on the scale of the Glenn Hoddle issue. I don't think. It's not as funny as the Glenn Hoddle thing. It's still funny, but Glenn Hoddle is special. Because with the Glenn Hoddle one, sorry to bring it up, but as I said, I don't... Oh, actually, I'll never apologise for bringing it up. What did Glenn Hoddle...
Apologise for
this is funny. I apologise for apologising. I should never apologise again for bringing up the Glenn Hoddle incident.
And I apologise on the behalf of the podcast.
What did Glenn Hoddle expect to achieve views-wise?
Frankly, and I want to be frank, was the murdering of all disabled people. That could be the only good outcome, because if you track his logic, disabled people are being punished from bad things in a previous life. What does he want? What does he want to happen? There is no outcome other than murdering them.
Shunning them.
Shunning them.
Yeah, like societal, treating them as if they've done a great evil, institutionalizing all of them.
So what we've got is
some
two
form
football,
of
what we've got is two football
cleansing.
players.
Yeah.
We've got two football players.
Yeah.
One of them tacitly arguing for shunning all disabled people. The other denying an incredibly recent and still reoccurring war crime. And it's just stick to the fucking football. Just stick to the fucking football. Have an opinion on shit in your house.
In the
Talk
pub.
to your wife about it. Talk to your friends about it. Don't shout it out in a pub, because you're obviously people are going to fucking tell news outlets about it. And they should. They should tell news outlets about it if you're saying mental shit like they're doing. And this is a nice element of cancelish culture, that it's nice just to be like, good riddance, you fucking maniac. Like, it's a momentary mistake and he's done a dumb thing, but he should just fucking stick to football and grow up.
Yeah, but I also want... I guess this is my potentially problematic worldview, is that these sort of people, I want them to be around because I want to see what they say next,
But they're not going to go. They're going to still be on Twitter.
Yeah, it's true.
You just need to follow them on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't need to see. I think I'd struggle to watch Matt Le Tissier analyze Arsenal West Ham.
Or after he's denied the book of war crimes.
Because all I'm going to be like, how do you trust someone's judgment?
What, their judgment? Are you starting to bring in his judgment of football? Because he thinks
I think he's losing his judgment of football. Because he can't. He's clearly not operating on a rational basis.
No.
He's not working on evidence here.
All right. Okay, that's the end of the episode. We have a half an hour-ish bonus rest of the episode where we discuss all the stuff that is not available for the public. I highly recommend subscribing to our Patreon. It's growing.
It's getting there. It's going slowly up.
We have a lot of good shit on there, and just grow up.
But what you get when you go on the Patreon is you don't just get the new episodes, you get all of the fucking ones we've done recently. How many episodes are there?
There's like 45.
45?
Yeah.
That is an obscene amount of content.
Yeah, there's loads there. And every week we now record for about an hour and a half, and we just take half an hour out of the episode and put it. Normally the most ratchet stuff we put it on.
There's some seriously obscene shit that's gone into the Patreon.
This episode as a whole, it's a lot of like, you'll see from what's the public stuff as being like, that's a bit on the nose. That whatever that will be,
it's past the nose.
Will be.
It's in the nose.
It's up the nose.
It's up the nose.
The Patreon stuff is up the fucking nose.
It's up the nose.
Thanks a lot for watching. Do you have anything else to say?
Keep it trill.
Yeah.
Swaif.
See you next week.